we're in East London, and we can't leave East London without seeing the beast from the East. Mr. Anthony Yarde, how are you, mate?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Look, there was a post that went across social media yesterday. BT Sport put it out, and they said 7 years ago, 2015, the journey began. You made your debut. What did you think when you saw that?
You know what? It was like a little trip down memory lane. Even when I saw the picture, I was like, wow. Like even when I don't think about it, I'm just like, I would have never said that it's been 7 years already. Because when you're involved in it, it goes so quick. And then because we had COVID as well, it's like that kind of put more of a spanner in the works as well. So it seems like it's a shorter time. 7 years seems like a madness.
Highs and lows?
Highs and lows. Again, within my first 4 years, I fought for the world title. So again, that's when it was just like one thing after the other. Like I rose very quickly. And then again, I was coming back, you know, getting everything sorted out. And then I fought Lyndon Arthur during the COVID thing, after all these deaths in my family or whatever. Ended up not getting a decision, had to reassess everything, you know. And then, again, now I feel like I'm getting back on track. I feel like my mind is back where it was before.
So would you change anything from the last 7 years? Are there any regrets?
No regrets. I feel like I'm happy with the way my career's gone so far. Obviously, everyone wants that, you know, that big hurrah, being undefeated, being invincible. But again, I feel like there's a feeling that you get from bouncing back. And even in the last fight, there was a lot that I went through mentally. And to get the victory, it was like, it felt 10 times better.
Do you think that whole experience made you stronger? Because I remember interviewing you after the Lyndon Arthur fight, and you said people don't care what you've gone through. You just got to crack on, and they don't care, and they just see you when you win and when you lose, sort of thing. Has that whole experience made you stronger? Facts.
I think even before I turned professional, 2015, as we stated, I had to come to terms with that. That again, you're a performer, you're an entertainer. No one cares about your personal life. You know, I know it sometimes might be a story or people might be entertained. Again, sometimes, you know, tragedy is entertaining. You know, something to talk about. People talk about negativity more than they do positivity. It's just, it's facts. But I had to get that into my mind. No one cares about what you're going through. So get on with it. Get on with it. And sometimes it is hard going through things in private or whatever. But my one happened to be in the public. You know, and that's one thing I have learned from it as well. If there's any regrets, it was when I did go through what I went through with my family, I should have kept it to myself. I wish I did keep it to myself. Because I feel like it made it harder. Everyone knowing about it, you know, people were posting about it. I got thousands of messages, which was okay in the beginning, but then once it got to like 6 months, 7 months, and I kept getting reminded over and over again when I was trying to heal, it made it harder. But again, it did make me stronger, to answer your question.
From what you said there, right, so that meant 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Every time someone saw you for the first time since, they would be asking you about it. But the flip side of that, was there no level of comfort and support from sharing that with everyone and getting people putting their arm around you kind of and saying it's going to be okay?
I'm not that kind of person, you know. I didn't receive one hug.
From COVID though?
True, that's true. But I've never been that kind of person anyway. Like if I'm feeling certain type of way, I think the last thing I want to do as a person is hug. I don't know why that is, but you know, I don't know. When you're a boxer, it's like everyone expects you to have this armor around you. You know, you can just deal with anything. The show must go on. You go and fight. But everyone's different. I felt like I handled it well. I dealt with it well, and I feel like I'm a stronger person for it.
That Lyndon Arthur fight, it was December now. That felt like, to me, watching it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that felt like the end of one chapter in Anthony Yarde's career and essentially the beginning of a new one. Is that fair to say?
That's definitely fair to say. Because, again, the first fight, again, I'll still say it. I thought I won the first fight. Everyone's got their opinions on it. A lot of people, like when I talk to people about it, they're like, yeah, but you won the first fight. And some people are like, yeah, that first fight was a bit iffy, which means they probably think he won it. But again, that's why we had to fight again. And I made sure I put a stamp on it. And I said it, even in the build-up, I said, that ain't happening again. That is not happening again. My mind was back where it needed to be. I knew what I needed to do. And I even said it after the first fight. It's like I've built up a reputation of dominating or knocking people out or whatever. So if I do anything different, it's like, oh, is he struggling? Is he not doing, he's getting beat here. The guy's making him not throw punches. Again, that's something that I've, from speculating from the outside, watching the fight, I was like, okay, cool. I can see why the judges will see it as like he's controlling the fight, because usually I'm attacking my opponent, I'm doing this. I'm not known as a boxer, counter puncher. So again, judges know that, people know that. So anything different happens, if it's not in a dominating fashion, they'll probably give it to the other person.
I think more than anything, it also looked like you enjoyed yourself in there. I remember the face-off right at the very start of it. It's very different to the first fight. You were really sort of sizing him up like it's time.
Everything was different. The crowd was back. We was in London. Surprisingly, it was crazy because a lot of London people were supporting Lyndon Arthur. because again, he's always been more involved in the boxing scene. I'm sure he fought for GB. I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but he fought in the amateur scene for a long time. So again, in amateurs, you build a fan base. I didn't go the traditional route in amateurs. I was trained by Tony Cisse with a club that no one knows about, Omnibus. And I tried to make my own way. And again, same thing with my professional life. I joined Tunde, who wasn't a big name in terms of training or whatever, but I like that story, the growth, growing together, making something of yourselves. It just makes it feel a lot better. It's harder. I do personally think it's harder. It's a harder route, but it just feels a lot better when you accomplish something.
Well, the next thing you're looking to accomplish, it looks like, is a shot at the world title. And Joe Smith and Artur Beterbiev are going at it in June. Hopefully you'll be there ringside watching and sort of calling on the winner. How do you see that fight going?
Do you know, I actually don't know. I've only seen highlights of both fighters. And again, everyone that knows me and knows my career knows I don't really watch people like that unless I'm trying to learn from them. And in terms of certain professionals in this day and age, to name a few, I really like Shakur Stevens, excellent technical boxer. I like Devin Haney as well. I knew him from when he was an amateur. Errol Spence, for me, is one of the best pound for pound. Again, he's rivaled Terence Crawford and 100% Javante Davis, So, and Canelo. These are people that I watch and I'm like, yeah, the skill set. And even so, I have to mention Tyson Fury as well. The ultimate boxing genius as well. So these are guys I watch and I'm like, you know what? These guys are on a serious level when it comes to their boxing IQ. So these are guys that I watch and I try to learn from. Even though a lot of them are younger than me, they're all more experienced than me, so I try to watch from them or whatever. People in my weight class, apart from Canelo coming up, I wouldn't say that I've actually studied them and said, oh, this is how I can get better or anything like that. I see them as competitors. So it's a bit different how I approach watching them. But again, I'm going to keep a close eye on when they fight each other. And I'll be looking to destroy the winner.
Do you feel better placed to, as you just put it, destroy the winner? You fought for a world title before against Kovalev, and that was a huge step up from the level that you've been boxing before. We're a few years down the line now. I think it'll be almost 3 years beyond that down the line now. Do you feel in a better place to challenge for a world title?
I definitely feel in a better place. The reason I feel in a better place is because, again, I've gained a bit more experience. I've been at that level before. And I would say that there's not as much pressure, but there's always going to be pressure. There's always going to be pressure, but I feel like I'm a lot more experienced now. And with that being said, I feel like I know what I need to do. I wouldn't be going in there saying, you know what, let me see how it is after the first round. I would go in there with a plan saying I know what I'm going to do. In the first fight, there was no game plan.
Artur Beterbiev, he's knocked out everyone he's ever fought, and he's the favourite heading into the Joe Smith fight. You believe you can knock him out? Of
course. I'm sure the most I've heard about Beterbiev, I know he's a Russian destroyer. That's what they've been calling him. I respect him. He's a fantastic fighter. To knock out everybody you've been in the ring with is an amazing accomplishment. From what I've seen, he can be hurt. He got dropped by Callum Johnson, before. But obviously, he pissed off Beterbiev because Beterbiev got up and stopped him. But it shows that he can be hurt. And I'm 100% confident that I hit harder than Callum Johnson. And with my mind's on my game, I feel like my skill set as well, I can get in there and do damage.
Is it a case of if you were to get him into the same spot that Callum Johnson had him, you probably wouldn't let him off the hook?
You know what? Again, I'm not a person that I don't, anyone that's followed my career, they know I don't chat rubbish.
I know. I'm going to try that.
I'm going to try, but I don't chat rubbish to sell or anything like that and say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If the fight's going to happen, it's going to happen anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? So I like to be a realist, and what I do know for a fact is whenever I hit somebody, they feel it. And I've got power to hurt anybody I fight. I've showed that time and time again. And everyone's human. Everyone's human. We saw Canelo versus Bivol. No one had Bivol winning that fight. I was one of the people that said, I think this is a 50-50 fight. But just for the sheer fact that Canelo is biting off a lot by going up to light heavyweight and fighting a fighter, that's game. Russian, good, fundamentals, throws a lot of punches. Canelo's thing has always been he throws a lot of single shots, and he bullies a lot of people. But going up to light heavyweight, it's going to be hard to bully a person like Bivol. He fought Kovalev 3 weeks, under 4 weeks after Kovalev fought me. Kovalev was even complaining still about headaches and all the kind of things from after he fought me. So for that turnover, fighting someone like Canelo, you can see why he got caught. And he was winning the fight before they stopped it, before he got knocked out. So that showed me something.
So give me your general reflections then on Canelo versus Bivol. I was going to come on to that. Was it the size that beat Canelo? Was it because Bivol could absorb Canelo's best shots? Or tell me.
A mixture of everything you just said. Bivol was naturally bigger, longer arms, better reach, and throws a lot of punches. And as I said, he's got very good fundamentals. His footwork in and out, the pivots. So what I noticed was every time Canelo landed, Bivol threw about 4 punches. Whatever Canelo threw, he doubled up on him every single time. And Canelo, again, he's so defensively great that when he's used to doing boom, 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 every time he pulled, it's like they studied him very well. Every time he pulled, it's like, okay, that's the end of it. Do you get what I'm saying? But then Bivol kept coming, boom, 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 3 afterwards. So it was good, man. It was good to watch. It just mixes up everything. Boxing, again, Floyd Mayweather era, I think is finished. With everyone finishing their career, undefeated and thriving on that or whatever. Let's just leave Floyd alone, because Floyd, again, he showed how great he was. He done his thing at that level as well. But I don't think that, apart from Joe Kawasaki, did Joe Kawasaki fight at light heavyweight?
Yeah.
I think
Hopkins.
And Hopkins, yeah, he fought, yeah. And you get what I'm saying? Joe Kawasaki, I think he's the only light heavyweight I can think of that retired undefeated, that fought world champions. I've even classed him as one of the best light heavyweights ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, mainly his career was super middleweight, but he ended up
going to light heavy. So yeah, it's just like, let's get in there and fight each other. You're seeing a lot of fights happen now. They're not really, dragging them out no more. They're happening. Triple G Canelo happened. Shakur Stevens fought Oscar Valdez in the peak of their careers. It's happened. There's so much fights now happening. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like that's what's making boxing grow. Again, because back in the day it was fiery, it was hot when the Mike Tyson era and things like that. And I feel like it's getting back to that stage because people are fighting each other. Just
to go back to Bivol, how do you beat someone like that? There is currently no blueprint. He is unbeaten in, I think it's now 20 or 21 fights. He's just beaten the pound-for-pound king. He seems to be a man on top of his game right now. He's in your weight division. There may be a future fight with you and him. How do you beat someone like that?
Again, I personally think I would know how to beat Bivol. It will be a task because he's fundamentally very good. Again, I don't lie to nobody. I'm not going to say, yeah, it's an easy fight for me or anything like that. He's fundamentally very good. And you saw it in the Canelo fight with his footwork, knowing when to step back, knowing when to come forward, all the kind of things. And I think how you beat someone like Bivol is that you got to match him. That's literally it for me. You got to match him at time, outsmart him. Craig Richards, again, is someone I know done extremely well against Bivol. Extremely, extremely, extremely well. And that was his first world title fight. And he was, again, what happened to Craig Richards is what happened to me. Luck of the draw. You get the most dangerous person at the time. When I fought Kovalev, he was the most dangerous light heavyweight in the world. And then he got Bivol. I think the two most dangerous light heavyweights right now, in my opinion, that are world champions will be Bivol and Beterbiev, 2 Russians again. So again, you saw how good Craig done against him. So I'll fancy my chances.
Craig's taking on Joshua Buatsi, a fighter that you've been linked with for a long time. Hopefully one day we do see that fight, but right now he's got Craig Richards on his mind. How do you see that fight playing out?
Craig's going to beat him. And as soon as that fight got announced, I raised my eyebrows and I said, why? To me, I just don't understand why that fight's happening in Buatsi's situation. I don't understand why you would have that fight. You know, I don't know how that fight's going to plan out, but I see Craig winning that fight. I know Craig. I used to spar Craig often. And I just feel like it's one of them fights where they're looking for someone to fight. You know, maybe a domestic fight. I just had a domestic fight, so they're looking probably to have a good domestic dust-up as well. We'll see what happens. And I'm sure they've probably got a rematch clause in that as well.
What does Craig do better than Buatsi then, in your opinion, from what you've seen?
I haven't seen as much of Buatsi, but I used to spar Craig. I know Craig very well, and Craig knows me very well as well. So again, there is respect for each other. I think Craig's very rangy. You know, when he does get his jab going, he's got a good jab, and he's got good footwork as well, and he can take a punch. You know, he's not, from what I've seen, he's not as easy to hit as Buatsi is. Buatsi's tough, you know, hard hitter, very tough. But from what I've seen, he gets hit a lot easier than Craig does.
So when you saw that fight got made then, and you've just said what you've said there, are you looking at it as a case of, God, if Buatsi loses this, it takes something away from our future fight, or not at all?
Not at all. Same as, you know, when they gave the decision to Lyndon Arthur in our first fight, I wasn't really thinking about Buatsi, I was thinking about myself. I was thinking to myself, like, what were they watching and all that kind of stuff. And when I went and watched it back, I said, Then when I spoke to some people and they said things about like perception, I said, this actually makes sense. Watch in this rematch. I'm beating them up. And I know it sounds crazy, I don't even like to talk like this because we're all sportsmen. But my mentality when this fight, during that last Lyndon Arthur fight, was I'm going to beat him up. Especially because of how they acted as well after the first fight. In the beginning, it was very respectful, and they started talking as if like it was easy and boxing with one hand, all this nonsense. So I was like, I'm going to beat him up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I always had intentions to actually stop him or knock him out or whatever. But I said, it's going to actually be a beating. Like, no round's going to be competitive. I think there was one round that was a bit competitive, but I feel like I won every round.
So what about yourself now then? You're in line for a shot at the winner of Smith against Beterbiev. Can you see yourself getting a fight in before that? Do you want to get a fight in before that, or you kind of happy to wait? How's it all going to play out?
Hopefully. For me, it's like, hopefully I can get a fight before, but at the same time, it's just one of them things, isn't it? You know, I'm 30 years old now. I'm in the peak of my career. I want that fight, you know, unification bout. Do you get what I'm saying? That's a fantastic opportunity. And, you know, God gave us all brains for a reason. As much as we got egos, and I can be egotistical when I'm like, I don't care who I fight. Let me fight. I don't care. I want that world title fight. And, you know, they're not going to wait for me. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I fight in between, and I'm not even going to say anything negative, but everyone knows with boxing you can hurt your hands and all these kind of things can happen. I personally think I'm just going to wait. And the reason I feel like I'm going to wait because I train hard. I'm a workaholic, and I feel like this is more time for me to get better.
Jake Paul. I don't know how we've pivoted to Jake Paul, but Jake Paul, after Bivol beat Canelo, he said that in 3 years' time he will beat Canelo. What are your thoughts on that comment, and also just on Jake Paul's involvement in boxing?
I think Jake Paul's involvement in boxing is excellent. to be fair, I'm probably one of the people that's just like, I like it. It's entertainment. You know, he took Floyd's hat, which I found was a bit disrespectful. You can't take someone like, you get what I'm saying? But in terms of, I feel like he's bringing a lot to the sport. You know, there's no person out here that I know of that's given fighters more money, you know, out of their own pocket. You know, when he fought, who did he fight? I think he fought the UFC fighter. He fought him twice, innit? Okay, we all know.
Woodley.
He fought Tyron Woodley in the second, and he knocked out Tyron Woodley. That's not a joke. And I said, people were actually saying to me, that was fixed. I said, yeah. You think man's getting punched in his face and in the front of it's fixed, yeah? Say nothing. But he's got better and better. And he's impressed me because when he's been on the back foot, he's still jabbing. He's showing a bit of good boxes. Because I'm like, bro, this guy. It's funny because he's just come out of nowhere. And because he talks so much and he's entertaining, people are like, you can't even box, but he can. He can box. And as a promoter, you know, he's fighting, and then people on his undercard, and he's giving them more money than they should get paid. Do you get what I'm saying? So he's clearly doing something right. That's just in my opinion. Some people like him, some people don't. He's an entertainer, but at the end of the day, he talks shit. He don't really care if people hate him. He's here to, you know, sell tickets and make money. So I think he's doing a good job.
And within that good job, is he 3 years away from beating Canelo Alvarez?
I wouldn't say so, to be honest. I think Canelo, you know, it's very hard to beat Canelo. You have to have a lot of size on him. You have to have a good punch output. You have to be able to take a real good punch and have a lot of experience and discipline to beat someone like Canelo. But is anything impossible? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You've said that you've watched him. You've seen him get better. He can box a bit. Look, he's been linked for a long time with a fight with Tommy Fury. They signed to fight. Who would you pick in that fight?
Again, I don't think I would pick anybody.
Because you're scared of Big John Fury?
No, I don't think I'm scared of anyone. But no, but I don't. You know what's funny? This sounds magic. I think I'll choose Jake Paul. Not like, again, I don't like Tommy Fury's not my boy. Like, I hope he does well in boxing. He's in my weight class as well, so to me that's a future up. And me and him can get a crack in as well anytime he wants to sign a contract. But someone like Jake Paul, yeah, I feel like he's, as I said, he's getting better. Tommy Fury's getting better as well. But from what I see, there's something about Jake Paul where he's getting better at a good rate, a rapid rate. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm talking about performances. I saw a bit of Tommy Fury's last performance. He dropped the guy, but I don't know. I feel there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. You know, he still looks like very tense or whatever. He's big for the weight. But in terms of skills, I think Jake Paul looks a bit cleaner. I can't lie. It's funny to me because, you know, someone like Tommy Fury, the professional boxer, he probably goes through it properly, trains extremely hard. But a lot of people are saying that Jake Paul don't train. I think he trains hard. I think he's actually in the gym working.
Well, Tommy Fury's been in the gym with big bro, Tyson Fury. And I saw you were there at Wembley Stadium, 94,000 people. And from what I saw, you had the biggest smile in the whole stadium. You stood next to Rio Ferdinand. You were pretty much right next to the apron. How did you find it? It was
such an entertaining fight, man. You know, I wanted Dylan to do a lot better than he did. But again, you can't be too hard on Dylan White because he fought a guy that is almost 7 foot tall, moves like a featherweight, and is, again, someone like Tyson Fury keeps getting better. You know, his punch output is getting better. His punch selection is getting better, and he's actually a freak of nature. You know, there's a lot of people that have been saying, oh yeah, you know, even Shakur Stevens said he would beat Muhammad Ali and all these kind of things. Styles make fights, and I personally think he would have beat Muhammad Ali as well. I don't like to say things like that because don't ever talk on a great's name like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali would have beat anyone in his good day.
It's like you're not allowed to say it.
You're not allowed, man. You're actually not allowed. And plus as well, it depends which fight it was. Because how much of a genius Muhammad Ali was, he would have probably figured out of how to, just like individual Foreman, surprise the world. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, Tyson Fury for me is one of the best heavyweights ever, in my opinion, from what I've seen of him. The atmosphere was sensational. I hope Dylan White gets another chance to get in there again because he's an entertainer. You know, we all love Dylan White because he brings it. He says, oh, I don't care, let's just have it. That's what we love about Dylan White. He's from London as well. And yeah, man, he just brings the entertainment and violence, as he says.
The press conference for that fight, the weigh-in, for that fight. There was so much anticipation that they were going to antagonise each other, that there was going to be beef, and they're maybe separated by security and like steel cages and stuff like that. But they were dancing in the end. They were having fun. They were tickling. Did that all play to Tyson's advantage?
I think evidently, yeah. Partly actually, because Tyson Fury's been at the stage. You know, he had the press conference beef with Klitschko. He had the press conference beef with Wilder to a certain degree. You know, when Wilder was like, what did he say again? Till this day. Till this day. So he's had all them moments. Like, I think Fury thrives on that. But Fury's like, I feel like mentally, he knows exactly what he's doing. When he gets in that ring, he knows what time it is. He got in the ring, he ran straight up to my man, to Dylan White, looked in his eyes with his eyes open, and said, yeah, bounced on his toes. They went back to their corner. It was such a good fight, man. But again, I have to say this, Dylan White won the first round. He come out of southpaw, but then guess what? Fury come out of southpaw for the second round. No, it was a good fight. I enjoyed it, man. I was there. I was like, yes. It was so entertaining.
Well, look, get a strap on yourself. You know, well, that sounds bad.
Whoa.
By that, I meant like a world title, not an actual.
I don't need a strap on, B. Yeah. Let's keep it PG. I don't need a strap on, B.
Let's keep it PG. But look, tell all the fans, what can we expect from Anthony Yarde in 2022?
I say just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm hungrier than ever. I know the competition is mad. That's literally that. The way you have to sometimes view things, yeah, is you have to weigh up the odds. Again, I'm in a situation where it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm a guy that come from 12 amateur fights, limited in experience. A lot of my fights haven't gone the distance, and I rose in the sport very quickly, very, very quickly. And then I'm up against these Russians, the guys that have had hundreds of amateur fights, great, fantastic professional careers, the Americans, who have been in and out the ring in different boxing gyms around the world and all kind of things. So again, the odds are always going to be stacked against me when it comes to world level, but that's what I thrive on. I thrive on that. I almost knocked out Kovalev. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was me, triple in experience. I'm a bit more experienced now. And I just feel like it's exciting times. Stay tuned.
We will stay tuned. Great to see you today, Anthony.